Waking to the rain's drum, he sits up to gauge the gray sky. He crouches to stroke the goat, a quiet anchor before the storm. He steps out into the chill, carrying a traditional wooden bucket to fetch Watt. He dips the bucket into the rushing stream. The icy splash, a sharp reminder of untamed nature. Back inside, he crouches by the stove with focused intent. He coaxes a flame from damp twigs. Hood pulled tight. He grips his wooden staff and steps into the relentless downpour. He returns with 2 heavy bundles of fresh greens, his steady pace defying the mud. He hangs the greens on the wall and his companion eagerly devours the fresh harvest. Chores is done. He crouches by the falls. From a bag, he releases pink tilapia into the cold stream, seeding his aquatic lifeline. The fragile fry slip into rocky crevices. He engineers a self-sustaining food web where nothing comes free. Moving to the stone-lined terraced pool, he tips a second bag of darker fish into the water. The ripples spread across the surface, confirming the flow of his meticulously carved irrigation channels. Back in the cabin, he pours hot water. Steam rises, mixing with the goat's quiet bleats, offering a fleeting moment of warmth. But the rain shows no sign of stopping, and the forest still holds secrets. Setting aside his cup, he straps on his pack and slides back into the blue raincoat, ready to plunge into the deep woods once more. Gripping his stick, he marches toward the green wall. Behind him, the cabin stands alone while the goat watches from the shadows, guarding the hearth. Deep in the light-starved understory, his eyes can the decaying leaf litter. Spotting a flash of color, he crouches and plucks a solitary red wild fruit from the damp earth, a rare calorie-dense prize. Wiping away the jungle grime with his thumb, he takes a sharp bite. The tart, explosive flavor hits his palate, a fleeting burst of energy to fuel the grueling hours of labor ahead. The foraging isn't over. Shouldering a massive bamboo pole, he climbs the steep, leaf-choked slope, every step a battle against gravity and slick terrain. Reaching a patch of broad-leafed flora, he drops to his knees. His hands claw at the soil, clearing rot to expose the thick, starchy roots beneath. He extracts a massive taro-like root. Stripping away the mud reveals the nutrient-rich core that will sustain him for weeks. Efficiency is survival. He binds the greens and roots with vines, turning a chaotic pile into a balanced load. Shouldering his heavy load, he strides into the dense jungle, vanishing as the camera pulls back. Inside the cave, he selects chisels from the rack, choosing blades to tame the raw timber. Kneeling by the rushing creek, he wets the whetstone and begins the rhythmic, hypnotic grind. The metallic shriek of steel against stone echoes through the valley, sharpening his tools to a razor's edge. He pulls red wild fruits from his pocket, plunging them into the icy stream to scrub away the dirt. He lays the glistening berries on the flat rock. The vibrant red contrasts with the gray stone, a quiet celebration of the jungle's bounty. In the shadowed cave, he gathers his gear. The quiet rustle signals the shift to heavy construction. The saw bites into the log with each push and pull. His muscles coil, sending pale sawdust into the humid air as he cuts the timber to precise lengths. Stripped logs are placed on the stone base. He aligns them with precision, fresh wood scent, rising as his shelter slowly takes shape. He drives the chisel deep into the hardwood. The mallet strikes, carving a perfect rectangular mortise to lock the structure together. With mortises is done, he takes a slender strip. His blade carves the tenon along the grain, ensuring a joint tight enough to outlast the timber. He fits the pieces with a satisfying thud. Setting tools aside, he surveys the joints, a nod to the ancient carpentry holding his sanctuary together. By the creek, he chisels grooves into thick logs, preparing the next layer of the frame. He lays a log across the sawhorses, scoring cut lines with black stone. Each mark dictates the exact dimensions of his future walls. He swaps the saw for a heavy machete, shaving the rounded log ends into perfect squares with brutal precision. The finished beams are stacked neatly on the river stones, a growing arsenal of precision-cut wood. Each piece is a puzzle piece waiting to be hoisted into the sky. The cabin's skeleton rises. He heaves the first massive post into place, checking the plumb line to ensure the shelter's backbone stands dead straight against the jungle. He guides the heavy beam into the carved slots. It settles with a resonant thud, signaling a perfect fit. He raises the gallet high and strikes with force. The heavy blows drive the joint's deep friction, locking the timbers into a single unyielding unit. Kneeling on the frame, he installs the second tier of crossbeams. The structure rises, his balance tested as he weaves heavy wood into the lattice. To secure the joints against time, he brings out the hand auger. Pressing the bit into wood, he cranks the handle, boring a clean hole through the beam. From above, the wooden frame's geometry contrasts with the wild waterfall. He wipes sweat from his brow, moving to the other side to repeat the process. He aligns a whittled wooden peg with the drilled hole. This simple timber is the final linchpin, making the framework earthquake-proof. At the cave mouth, he shaves a log with his machete. Each stroke strips the bark to reveal fresh hardwood for assembly. He strikes the frame's joints with a mallet, driving tenons deep into mortise to lock the structure tight. He grips the main pillar and shakes it with force. The frame holds firm, proving his hand-cut joints can withstand harsh mountain gales. He climbs to the middle tier, balancing on the crossbeam. Suspended above the rocks, he prepares to tackle the roof. Against the waterfall's roar, he fine-tunes the triangular truss. Aligning beams by eye, he ensures flawless geometry for the roof tiles. High above, he secures the second rafter. The roof silhouette emerges against the jungle canopy, turning a skeleton into shelter. He clamps a heavy plank to the sawhorse. Gripping the long saw, he aligns the blade with the mark ready to cut the floorboards. The steel teeth bite deep sand and golden sawdust, cascading to the dirt with a smooth pull. The plank parts cleanly, its fresh drain gleaming in the light. He lays the fresh boards across the frame, pressing them tight. Their natural grain stands out in the shadows, weaving a warm carpet over the cold stone. The final floorboard clicks into place. He runs his palm across the smooth surface, a rare smile breaking through the ground beneath is finally solid and ready. He lifts a pre-cut panel from inside, pressing it firmly against the frame edge to enclose the structure. He drives the board into its groove, sealing it with mallet strikes. With each blow, the cabin's silhouette sharpens, walling out the jungle. He locks the final panels from inside, sealing the rear wall. The tight fit blocks the mountain chill, completing the wooden shelf for his flock. He sets down his lantern and gathers a bundle of tender greens from the creek, preparing a fresh dinner for the goats. He tosses fresh greens into the new cabin loft. A gray-brown goat scrambles up, eagerly chewing. The sound of joy fills the timber space, validating his hard labor. He braces the sidewalls with horizontal cross timbers, ensuring they remain straight and do not warp under heavy pressure. He steps back, lantern held high to inspect the roof and walls. The proportions are perfect. Quiet triumph fills him as the shelter nears completion. He carves a triangular opening in the front facade. Inside, he taps small dividers into place, creating a cozy, draft-free interior for the kids. He assembles a ramped staircase from notched planks leading to the cabin door. It gives the goats a safe anti-slip route to climb without tumbling into the dirt. He sweeps the hut, then backs out with his lantern. He emerges from the shed, boots hitting the ground with practiced ease. He shoves greens through the entrance. The goat eagerly bites into the leaves with rhythmic crunches. It chews with vigorous, satisfying crunches, showing a ravenous appetite. The hermit lifts his lantern, approaching a boulder to retrieve the red peppers left to cool. Lantern in one hand, ingredients in the other. He walks through the dark cave. Flickering light dances on damp stone walls as he heads to his kitchen. Crouching by the bamboo raft, he neatly arranges the red peppers. Beside them lie freshly picked green onions, roots still damp from the soil. He sets a small black pot over the roaring flame. Sparks fly into the night as he adjusts it patiently, bringing the water to a rolling boil. He pounds the boiled ingredients in a rustic wooden bowl with each rhythmic strike. They break down into a thick, sticky paste. He drags the pestle through, leaving a deep groove. His satisfied look confirms the texture is perfect. He spreads foil on the table with lantern and peppers near. Now begins the delicate art of shaping the crust with precision. With both hands, he presses the green puree along the foil's edge. He shapes it into a round, even base with practiced grace. He takes the wooden pestle, rhythmically mashing the peppers in the pot. The red flesh breaks down into a smooth, brilliant orange-red paste. He pours the thick pepper sauce into the center of the foil-lined crust, the vibrant over the green base. He folds the crust edges inward, sealing the filling. Grabbing fresh dough from the bowl, he patches the top gap, smoothing it into a seamless pimity for the fire. He folds the foil tightly around the pie, creating an airtight seal. This traps steam to bake the filling while keeping moisture in. He rakes the glowing embers aside and nestles the foil-wrapped pie into the center of the hot coals. He rakes away the ash to reveal the blackened foil using orange tongues. He lifts the hot parcel from the coals. With a small knife, he carefully slices the scorched foil. The golden crust peeks out, releasing a warm wave of steam and spice. He tears the pie open along the cut, thick, bright orange pepper sauce spills out from within. He tears off a chunk of pepper pie and shoves it in. Hot steam bursts across his palate as he closes his eyes, savoring the fiery flavor. He eats at the table, head bowed in the lantern's warm glow outside. The jungle is a wall of pitch-black silence, making his quiet meal feel profound. Framed by the tiny window, he sits alone in the dark yet feels entirely whole.